All right, everybody, welcome back to Curse of Father Lucian, who is the last person that you were speaking to the last time that we ended off. So you guys were at the Church of Saint Andrel, and it's actually called Saint Andrew's Church. And you were led there by Lydia, who so graciously agreed to let you borrow her dress, but was very hasty about it and told you all to get the hell out of the house. She wanted to go to the church, number one, just because she wanted y'all to go to the church and visit the church, because she thinks everyone should go to the church all the time. And she also wanted to repent for her moment of unhappiness that she had while she was looking at her dress. There you met Father Lucian. Father Lucian is Lydia's brother, and he is the main priest of the church. You were having a conversation with Father Lucian when we left off. You guys explored the church a little bit. You noticed a few things that seemed a little bit odd. Sindra noticed some scratch marks and some dried blood on the sides of the church walls. Y'all also noticed that the church configuration was very, very similar to the church that you saw in Barovia, the village of Barovia. Maybe made by the same designer, I don't know. And you noticed some loose floorboards, which Zug ripped up and climbed into. And you found nothing but a bunch of dust and cobwebs in the hole and a bug. Don't forget about the bug that
Very
Zug
important.
dropped in the hole.
Zug bug.
Zug didn't eat it?
No, he said he might eat it later, but for now he just dropped it. So maybe he's pocketing it for later. And you were told by Father Lucian, so during a conversation that Father Lucian was having with Cain, which we are in the process of, we're going to pick up during the conversation. Father Lucian told you that recently the bones of Saint Andrel himself were taken from the church, and the church is no longer safe because the bones are not there. He also told you that about a month ago, so just to remind you of the conversation, the last thing that Father Lucian told you was about a month ago, the young church boy that you
Milavage.
well, no. The young
Did he
church
just
boy
have a
that you've
stroke?
seen darting around looking very fearful, his name is Yeska.
Yeska.
He told you that Yeska was, and you've seen him darting around a little bit, doing his dutiful duties. And he's a very frightened looking young boy, maybe around 12 years old or 13. And he told you that Yeska was very frightened. And so so Father Lucian let Yeska know that the church was safe because there were bones buried beneath it. And that's what kept the church safe. So he wanted to put Yeska's nerves at ease. And Father Lucian noticed about just a month later, less than a month later, so this happened just a few days ago, that the bones had gone missing. So the only person that Father Lucian claims to have told is Yeska. And when Father Lucian approached Yeska to ask if he told anybody else,
Milavage.
Yeska did not divulge a name, but Yeska did fearfully nod that he had told somebody. So Father Lucian doesn't know who. He can't pull that information out of Yeska because Father Lucian is maybe too nice. But Father Lucian has told you that he has suspicions that he thinks it could be Milavage, who is the young man that you have seen digging graves in front of the church outside. So that is what we have done so far in this conversation. That's where you guys are at. And this is all information he has divulged to Cain, while Sindra has been distracting Lydia with a very unenthusiastic conversation. So, shall we pick up where we left off? Okay.
Real quick, what are we doing with this food? Should I throw it in the fridge?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Otherwise, Cheddar's going to be after it.
I guess that's true. Feel free. Yeah, I guess we're going to take an intermission. Well, I guess if you have a hard stop at 8, maybe we'll just eat then. That's okay.
Just eat. Nobody cares.
Alrighty. So picking up in our conversation.
Yeah.
Wait, can you remind me, like, where are we right now?
In the Church of Saint Andrel.
No, I mean, like, town-wise. I feel like I lost track of where we are.
Valaki.
Valaki, okay.
Yes.
You got the wedding dress.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You're in Valaki.
Okay, we got the wedding dress, and then we went over to the
Yes,
church.
you've
Gotcha,
acquired
gotcha.
the wedding dress. Albeit there have not been alterations to the wedding dress yet. You haven't had the, pleasure of
That's
getting
fine,
the
Dion.
wolf pelt
Thank
sewn.
you. We don't need it.
It just seemed like a big deal.
To some.
Okay, so Father Lucian leans over to Kane. I would be much obliged if you should go visit the young boy, or perhaps confirm my suspicions by chatting with the young altar boy, Yeska. Yeska is quite the frightened young boy, and I don't mean to frighten him any further. He knows me well, and he feels safe with me. Perhaps with a lot like you, he might be just nervous enough to divulge the truth of whom he actually spoke with.
Yes, Zug is quite good at making people feel nervous. Aren't you, Zug?
Doug looks over and just nods.
He is quite intimidating indeed.
Yes, well, usually he's more intimidating.
I
Zug will
can't
pick his
even
nose.
fathom.
Where may we find this boy?
Father Lucian gestures over to the front of the church, where you see Yeska darting in and out of the rooms, folding bed sheets and putting things away.
Before we go have a chat with this Yashka, can you tell me much about what motivates the child?
Father Lucian.
It is a child, right?
Yeah, so there's two people that have been mentioned. There's Yeska, who's the young adolescent altar boy, for lack of better terms. And then he's also made mention of Milovaj, who you haven't seen at the church yet today, who is the boy that he believes is responsible for the bones being taken. So he says, unfortunately, due to circumstances out of his control, it is mostly fear and grief that motivates the young boy.
He's motivated by grief, you say. What is the source of this grief?
Father Lucian sighs and looks you in the eyes. And he says, there are confessions that I am not ready to divulge, not until the morning Lord permits me. And
Very well.
he continues, there was a night when the young boy's mother came to confess at the church. She slit her own throat in front of the young boy.
Oh, yes, I suppose that could have had quite an effect on the young one.
He says, please be gentle with him.
Thank you, Father. I feel that you have given us plenty of information for now. Shall we need more, we will return.
Thank you. I appreciate what you are doing. And this ground, once hallowed again, shall be a safe haven for you and your friends.
All right. We wander. I wander back over to the party because I assume they're not too far behind me.
It would appear as though we need to speak to this altar boy. He may know a thing or two about where this Milovaj is. Supposedly, the bones have been misplaced in that this other Milovaj fellow might have something to do with it.
Do we have any clue where he might be?
Only that the altar boy over yonder there may know a thing or two about it. I suggest we go speak to him. However, the boy has faced many hardships in his life. We'd best not terrify him too much, Zug.
Who hasn't faced many hardships at that age? Let's go talk to him.
Perhaps
Yeah.
only one of us needs to speak to him. A large group of unfamiliar adults could be quite intimidating.
That sounds like you may be volunteering there, Ramis. You may be the least intimidating amongst us.
I'll stand behind him out of his line of vision.
That's terrifying, Zug.
Just stay hidden, please, Zug. And yes, I was volunteering so that none of you might muck it up with this boy. I think Ramis will do a little twirl out of his traveler's bag and pull out a top hat, plonk, give it a little tip to the party.
Where the fuck did he get that?
I've had that since
That's
like
the mansion,
first
right?
adventure, actually.
I
Yeah.
have not
Haunted
seen you wear
house.
that.
Uh,
That's great. All right, let's
where's the boy now, DM? We saw him behind
You
us.
see a wide-eyed young boy darting around the church dutifully. He is in the front of the church. There's 4 bedrooms that are in the front of the church, and you see him darting in and out of them, attending to duties.
I think Ramis will wait till he sees him pop out of one of the rooms and slowly pursue him.
The young boy has very light blonde hair and huge eyes, and he is thrumming with nervous energy.
And what is he doing right now?
Just still folding sheets.
Folding sheets.
Mm.
Okay. I think Ramis will approach.
Upon you getting within 10 feet of him, he turns to face you, noticing that you're there. His face looks shocked, intimidated, and he looks like he's on the brink of tears.
I think Ramis will, as friendly, kindly, most bard-like, charismatically say, "I'm so sorry to have startled you, but have you seen my purple hippopotamus?
He
I'm looking all over for it, and I cannot seem to find it."
furrows his brow and shakes his head at you.
Say, I could have sworn I left it in here. Then again, maybe I've not been in here before. You haven't seen anything like it. It's hard to miss. A purple hippopotamus, nothing. Ramis will take his top hat off and start scratching his head and be like, "Oh, I think I found it." And reach into his top hat and prestidigitate a tiny purple hippopotamus. There you are, Brian. I was looking all over for you.
Yeska looks at what's just happened and he starts to cry.
Really? Oh, don't worry. Brian, say hello to the little boy. Brian, say hello. He sometimes gets very nervous and shy. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ramis. What is your name?
Yeska.
Yeska. Are you from Valaki, Yeska? Do you know where Brian is from? Top Hatlandia. And like I flipped the top hat back onto my head.
He continues to stare at you in awe.
What do you do around here, Yeska, if not hunting hippopotamus?
I tend to the church. I do what the father asks me to do.
You refer to Father Lucian? I just met him for the first time. He seems like a nice man.
Mhm.
Do you have any other friends here?
Mm. Friends?
Yes. Brian is my friend. No friends? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sometimes some of the kids from the orphanage come over and talk to me.
Are you at the orphanage too? Who are the other kids from the orphanage?
Freya and Tessa and Cedric and he just like goes on like that for a minute.
Ramis will nod
Mhm.
with great interest at every
Mhm.
single name.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Freya. Oh,
Mm.
yes.
Mm.
He's still going.
Mhm. And
Yes.
and Laszlo and
Laszlo.
Franz
Friends.
and Hans.
Hans.
Mhm. And Myrtle.
Myrtle. Wow, this sounds like a lot of fun friends. Nice. You know, when I could not find Brian, I was feeling a little scared. Do you ever feel scared?
Constantly.
Constant. How old is this kid?
12.
Oh, he's 12.
Yeah.
He's so much older than I thought.
I
He's
mean,
like
I'm
12.
terrified constantly here. Are you kidding
I
me?
thought he was like 9. Okay.
He's 12. He's like 12, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that range.
Okay. I'm gonna up my game a little bit.
Prepubescent, adolescent,
Mm. Me
not a
too.
baby.
But believe it or not, Brian is just magic. He doesn't exist. I made him to help comfort me. So in a way, I am comforting myself when I am worried. Have you ever tried this? Maybe sometimes, if my heart is racing, I just sit down and I breathe slowly and I feel better. Or sometimes I hum a song, play my instrument, I pull my lyre off my back and strum a little bit. All these things help me. And sometimes talking to people helps as well. Do you have any friends here at the church you talk to sometimes?
I talk to the father a lot, and Lydia comes in a lot, and sometimes I talk to her. And Milovage is here sometimes, and sometimes I talk to him.
Milovage. Who's that? You didn't mention him from the orphanage.
No, he's not a kid like the kids at the orphanage.
But he is a kid, or is he is not like the other kids?
He's older than us, but he takes care of the grounds and he helps the orphans too.
So Milovage is nice.
He means well.
Does that mean sometimes he makes mistakes?
I think that sometimes he seems scary, but everybody makes mistakes.
Did he scare you ever?
No.
Everybody makes mistakes. Have you ever seen Milovage make a mistake? Okay. I only wonder because you said everybody does. So, I actually wanted to speak with you because Father Lucian told me that you are a very nice boy, and also that he himself is worried and scared right now.
Why is he scared?
Well, he told me that he is missing something from the church. And he thought maybe you were Milovaj might have seen something.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I did tell someone about how the church is safe. And he sort of looks down and twiddles his thumbs and purses his lips.
Listen, Yeska, you are not in trouble for this, and you have no reason to be worried about this. But I'm curious, can you tell me who you spoke to?
Roll persuasion.
Easy. Oh my God, that was the worst. I have a +8 and I got a 14.
Oh, that's good enough. Uh, and he continues to look down and not make eye contact with you. And he says, yeah, I did tell Milovaj.
Would you mind if I spoke with Milovaj?
Yeah, just maybe don't tell him that I told you.
No, of course not.
I don't want him to be upset with me.
My friends and I are very discreet, despite my appearances. That's all I said. That was a Danny reaction.
he does chuckle a little bit.
Nice. There we go. Well, Yeska, you have been incredibly helpful. And I'm so happy to hear about you and all of your friends from the orphanage. And if you are ever feeling nervous or shy, sometimes you may be able to find me at the Blue Water Inn, and I can.
Finding a child to the tavern.
It's an inn. It's an inn.
It's a tavern.
Come
It's not
by
a
the place
fucking
where I
bar.
drink.
And I might be performing a song or two. They always seem to lift people up.
Thanks, Remy.
I go,
Oh.
see you later, Yeska. And I walk away. Come back to the party. What is the party doing? What are we? Where are we? Where are we situated?
We're all standing in the middle, looking
Like
at you talk to
staring at
this
us.
child.
Yeah,
Yeah,
trying to be like low key, like inconspicuous, just hanging out.
just kicking the dust.
Yeah, we're kicking dust. Zug's talking about his bug.
I
What
mean,
color is your bug?
He's doing flips and shit in the palm of my hand. He's green, of course.
Yeah.
I think Ramis will say we should try to find Milovaj. Seems to be the only person Yeska spoke to.
Another kid. Great.
Okay, I think Ramis will walk up to Father Lucian.
Father Lucian turns to
Father.
face you.
Is Milovaj working today?
No, he hasn't been here for a few days now. Unfortunately, the boy is quite ill.
Quite ill. So he is at home.
At his home, yes.
Do you know what ails him? Perhaps we can help.
I don't. I just know that it has been gradual but quick.
I'm confused by these words.
He started to get sick a couple of weeks ago, and over the last 3 days, it has onset quite quickly. I do worry for the boy.
Can you direct us to his home?
Yes, he lives at the orphanage across the street.
He is at the orphanage. Okay. We shall go see him. And perhaps take care of him and learn more about the bones. think Ramis will, I'm assuming they heard all of that. We were talking in the middle of the chapel.
Please do make haste. Those bones are very important to the church.
Yes, Father Lucian, we are going quickly. Thank you.
Yes, Father Lucian, we are going quickly.
Where is the orphanage, Father Lucian? Perhaps that will help our haste.
You just asked, Ramis, and it is across the street, as I already said.
Did he say that to me?
This father's kind of a dick. Sounds like
Why are we doing this favor, Father?
The orphanage is across the street.
What's his
You can't
alignment?
miss it.
I cast detect.
You're gonna be a dick to the father, man.
We're helping him out. We are to find the orphanage. The father didn't tell us where it was. Ramis will say, laughing, as Ramis just did, as he delivered that. Kane, the boy is ill, though. Perhaps we can help.
Yes, I say we find him. Shall we go look for clues as to where he may be?
This is a mystery.
You guys gonna go to the orphanage?
Zug
Yeah.
will go to the front door and open them and wait for everyone to file out.
Yeah, let's go find this kid.
You all file out, and Esmeralda is still waiting outside for you. She did not care to go into the church. And she looks at the party inquisitively and asks, "So, what did you find?"
Zug will reach into his pocket and grab his bug
Yeah.
and say, I found a bug.
That is of the utmost interest and importance, Zug.
There is a sick boy that we must see. He is in the orphanage, and I will point at what must be the orphanage because it's across the street.
There is a building across the street.
Does it look like an orphanage?
It looks like a building. What does an orphanage look like?
Like
There's signs of
homeless
children
building?
having tramped into the front door. You know, like little muddy footprints.
Yeah, it'll either look pleasant and warm or like an insane asylum.
Probably like an insane asylum here.
And she says, well, if you're going to be dealing with a bunch of little kids, maybe I should just wait outside for a little while.
Suit yourself.
You get the feeling she doesn't want to interact with children. It's like not on her list of things to do.
We all
she's-
need to
she's
do
not gonna come with
things
us?
we're not comfortable with.
She's not particularly interested in joining.
So you fight vampires and werewolves, but it's the children who scare you. Is that correct?
Not scare, more like disgust.
Hmm.
I didn't realize you had such weak constitution as
I think
a
Ramis will
frail
turn to her
old
and say,
man.
"Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see you in a bit then.
See you on the other side. Do not get attacked by children,
They're so
she
small
says
and
forebodingly.
she is disgusted by anything charming. Let's go."
Why she
Ramis
hates
was-
you so much, Ramis.
What's that?
That must be why she hates you so much, Ramis.
That was the implication. Ramis will head towards the orphanage.
So upon approaching the building, you do see a large sign outside that says St. Andrew's Orphanage.
We have the right place.
Yeah.
Ramis will continue to the door.
It's quite a large building. It's tall, looks like 2 to 3 stories, and quite large around. So pretty spacious. You walk up to the building. And
And we lost McKenna.
No!
Whoa.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa.
There we go.
Oh!
Are we supposed to see that?
Yeah,
Oh!
I
Okay.
decided for this particular map, there's no obvious secrets that are on the map, and there's a lot of interaction in the room. So I'm going to leave it a little open and just reveal floors to you as they come. So you walk up and you see the front door. And the front door is unlocked.
We know that because we've tried to open it. Perfect.
Okay. So upon opening the front door, you see the front hallway of this building. It's wood paneled and dimly lit. The wood floors that you walk on seem quite old and worn. There are steps to the main staircase in the moment that you walk in that lead upstairs, and they are sagging with old age. There's a pile of children's shoes laying on the western wall on your approach.
Ramis, you're going in first, yes?
Yeah. So I think Ramis is looking around for anything that might be an office or where an adult might reside.
Yes. So upon walking in, right away, you notice the room on your right-hand side before the staircase. And this room, the door's closed in the hallway that leads to this room, but it bears a large plaque reading Headmistress Claudia Belasco.
Belasco. I think Ramis will knock loudly upon Miss Belasco's door.
After a few moments, a woman in her late 40s, early 50s opens the door. She's wearing her gray streaked brown hair up in a quite tight bun. She's got some fine wrinkles around her mouth that support her frowning face. And she looks very put together, not a hair out of place. And she looks upon you and looks upon the rest of the party who are behind you. And she says, "Can I help you?"
Miss Belasco, I presume.
Ms. Belasco.
Yes. I'm Ramis. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. We are here because we heard a boy is sick within the orphanage. We would like to help. Is there a boy by the name of Milavaj?
She lets out a sigh and she says, "Yes, Milavaj has been confined to his room for a few days. It is unknown what the sickness is." She says, "If you'd like, I can escort you to his room."
Yes, please.
Okay, she leads you out the door and she locks the door behind you. And she leads you out through the office door, over here through this door. And when you come into this large room, what you initially see is an old couch sitting in the center of the room. There's a few mismatched stuffed chairs in here. There's some chests that seem full to the brim with toys. You see a couple of small dining tables surrounded by chairs. There are 3 young girls crowded over here around a dollhouse. And there's an older boy that is over here, and he's sort of pacing the room with 2 younger boys, pretty much attached to his hip as he tries to calm them down and soothe them, it appears. There's another boy and girl that are playing a game of tag and they're running around the couch over here. There's an older girl who's sitting on the couch and she's reading aloud to a few younger girls, toddler girls, who are sitting on the couch and sitting on the floor around her. The room is basically a den of chaos and noise. So Ms. Belasco leads you through this door where you observe all these things and see all the kids running around and reading and playing and looking generally anxious. She leads you over here to this door. She faintly knocks on the door just a couple of times. She opens the door up. And as soon as the door opens, you can see that this room is even dirtier than the other rooms that you've visited so far that seem antiquated. And the bedroom is quite sparsely furnished. The floors are covered in dirt. There's an old shovel lying on the ground at the foot of the bed. And you can see a sickly young man is sleeping fitfully. He's covered in sweat and has blood mixed bile on his lips. His pallor is yellow and tinged and quite pale looking.
So how long has he been this way?
She says, Milivoj has been sick like this for a couple of days now. It's not looking good. The doctors gave me some healing remedies, but they don't seem to be having any effect.
I think Ramis will turn to the party and look at Kane and say, Kane, I know your knowledge of the arcane is strong, but how is your knowledge of medicine?
'Tis middling at best, though I could take a look.
Let us both try to diagnose this boy.
Agreed.
I want to turn to Kane and I'll ask, Kane,
Yes,
do you know when the bones were stolen?
If I remember correctly, it's been a few nights. Nothing too long ago. Are you suggesting there's a connection here?
I don't know yet.
You
Let's
think
tend
on
to the
that.
boy.
Go over, take a look at the boy.
Let's say to Syndra, we could probably use your help as well. If none of us are trained in medicine, the more the merrier.
Oh, there's something else I forgot to mention.
Uh-oh.
As soon as you walked into the orphanage,
Oh.
Retcon.
You all died.
the moment you walked into the orphanage, literally like you walked into the house, Syndra specifically felt a pit in her stomach, a pit, like just a dropping and a coolness to her body.
Okay.
Everyone
Okay.
else feels fine.
Simpletons.
I would like quietly whisper, like something doesn't feel right, but I wouldn't really elaborate. Am I like being pulled or drawn to any kind of area, or I just feel terrible?
You specifically like feel a pit in your stomach, and it feels like
Okay.
there's something here that is not good.
Okay.
I think Ramis is nudging Syndra, currently asking her to help diagnose the boy.
Okay. I have a pretty good plus to medicine.
Sweet.
Zed will stand at the foot of the
so-
bed.
If anyone would
That's
like
right.
to investigate Milavage, you're free to do so. I will take an Arcana or a Medicine check, whichever is higher for you.
Sweet.
I think Arcana is going to be
21.
boy Kane. 21.
21 Arcana check.
Boosh.
Okay. So with a 21 check, Kane is able to discern that his condition is both magical in nature and not contagious.
Kane will hold back that information while he cautiously observes everyone else taking a look.
Quick question. I don't have my dice. How do I roll on the app? Or Danielle, would you be able to roll for me?
Yeah,
You click the number.
yeah, you can click the like trait or click the number of the trait and it'll roll a
Okay.
dice for you. Do you see that?
Okay. Oh, all right. Ugh.
Oh,
Okay, 15. All right, cool. All right.
we can even see your rolls. That's so good.
Fancy. All right, cool.
So with a 15, you are able to discern exactly the same thing.
Okay.
I think Remis will ask, what do you both think?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Sindra?
I think I am.
It would appear as though this boy is suffering from some kind of magical malady. However, I do not sense that it is contagious.
I have different kinds of healing powers, but unless we know exactly what afflicts him, I do not know if it would help.
Do I know anything other than it's magical? Is that all I know?
Well, you know it's magical, and I don't know if anyone has detect magic.
I know, but I was just trying to milk my check for everything I can before you make me start using spells.
Literally, there's a spell to detect magic.
I know that. Don't. I'm a mage. I just
I've
did an
given you
Arcana
what-
check for 21.
I have given you what I have given you. You know that
out
it's
of spite, Kane fails to remember he can cast detect magic and goes oblivious.
Oh boy.
It'll take me some time, but Kane sets up to detect magic.
I think Remis, as this is happening, Remis will walk to the bedside and observe the young man. So he's covered in bile and bloody bile.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll perception and see what else I can deduce. Okay, that's a 9. What else do I see?
He looks really gross.
Ugh. Remis
He
is
definitely
disgusting.
has a fever.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a fever. He's sweating and feverish.
Is the madam just sitting there?
She's standing in the doorway, and upon watching you all investigate, she does walk into the room and she approaches Remis, who is the person who first spoke to her, and she says, "What is your interest in Milavage?"
We have recently been introduced to Father Lucian, and he told us the boy was suffering. We were simply hoping to help.
She is going to roll.
Wait, can I just roll deception?
Oh my God, she rolled a nat 20
On what?
on her ability to sense motive.
Well, I wasn't.
Sense magic.
Motive, right?
She scowls at you and she says, "So you are just here to heal the boy?"
Yes.
Okay. Persuasion.
But she already rolled.
You can still persuade her to believe
Jesus
that.
Christ, what is fucking? I want a real die. It's a 12.
You want to? I have a real die right here. Here, go ahead.
Yeah, let me
Promise you
roll
a
the real
die is
deal.
not gonna
Go ahead.
make it much better.
Jesus Christ. All right. That's a worse roll.
Okay, we'll take the good one.
It's 12. What does she say?
She just kind of scowls at you and doesn't say anything else. You can sense that she is not trusting.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
It's been 10 minutes yet, Kane?
I'm not in charge of that.
So no one's doing anything else during the time that he's casting his detect magic
Nope.
as a ritual? Okay.
Nope.
Just hanging out.
Okay. So as you cast detect magic, you are able to discern that there are traces of necromancy magic, almost as if from a bestow curse spell.
Ugh.
Bestow curse. Am I allowed to look up what the bestow curse spell means? Would Kane know?
Yeah, I'll give you.
Can I search my own magical knowledge that Ryan lacks but Remise has?
Sure. Yeah.
Does restoration help against this at all?
Let me see what I can tell you about that.
Like, I'm assuming Remise would know this was useless.
So generally speaking, if you were cursed, like from a bestow curse spell, you would be able to remove the curse using a restoration type spell.
Yeah.
There is not necessarily anything that you can discern from that whether or not it would work. Although with Kane's kind of strong role combined with the detect magic, Kane, you have a sense that a regular restoration spell will not cure this illness.
I think Remise will suggest to Kane and Syndra, I can try to restore him.
By what means do you have to attempt this, Remis?
Using a spell called Lesser Restoration.
We can try. I suppose it can't hurt. Though I fear that this may take more than that.
Healing potions have a kind of similar potency to a lesser restoration. And the headmistress has been using essentially healing potions on him with no effect so far.
I think Remise will turn to her and say, "What have you been able to learn anything about his illness?"
She squints at you, still sort of untrusting. And she says, I do believe that there is something wrong here at the orphanage. I do not know what.
You believe it afflicts the entire orphanage, not just this boy.
The children have been quite down lately, more down than they usually are. She's like pondering and taking moments between her shrewdness. And she says, there has been an accident here. And I do suspect foul play.
What kind of accident?
There was a child that died not long ago. He fell out of a window on the second story. I don't know if a string of bad luck can be this coincidental.
A string of bad luck.
Well, the death of Cedric, the illness of Milavage, the night terrors that the children have been enduring.
How long ago was the accident?
I think it's been perhaps 4 or 5 days now.
Since Cedric. She's talking about Cedric.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did you said Kane knew that the magic cast on, or whatever, the illness that this boy is suffering from is bestow curse, right?
No, it is not bestow curse, but it is having an effect that is similar.
Oh, it's a similar effect to that. Okay. So that's why.
You detected
Kane-
traces of necromancy,
Okay. Traces of
similar
necromancy.
to what you might find with a bestow curse spell. Not saying that it is bestow curse.
Okay.
I think Ramis will turn to Miss Velasco and say, we do want to heal the boy, but we might know something of why he could be cursed in this way.
She again like squints and scowls at you. And she says, why are you so interested in helping the young boy? Why are you so interested in helping?
He is an innocent young boy, is he not? I am happy to help. But Father Lucian mentioned that he might be tied up in something more powerful than he knows.
The father is indeed concerned for the child's well-being, but there are more serious concerns even than the child's well-being, I'm afraid.
And she says, Milivoje has always been able to handle himself.
Yes, it would appear as though he's handling himself quite well right now, would it not?
She says he will prevail. But I do fear for the rest of the orphans here as well.
The boy is not contagious, I can tell you that much. However, it would behoove us to take the boy from this place. Perhaps we can bring him somewhere where we can cure him of his illness.
I don't believe that this illness was an accident. And
Nor do I.
she sort of like tightens her lips and looks at you all and says, there is something wrong. And I believe that whatever is wrong is here. I think that is the answer to Milivoje's ailment.
Here?
And she like looks behind her and she's like checking around her as
Well, I
she
still have the detect magic thing.
telling
running.
you
Do I
this.
sense magic coming from anywhere else in the building?
Detect magic is an aura that can only be cast in how big of a radius?
Hold
It's
on.
concentrated. I don't think you're gonna be able
It
to.
allows me to see and sense through certain distances. Here, spell can penetrate most barriers, but it's blocked by 1 foot of stone. Or much more, like 3 feet of dirt will block it. It's within 30 feet of me, so I could see pretty good distance, especially if I go walking around the house.
Yeah, I think Ramis would like to notice the shovel. Is that just like dirt all around the floor?
Mhm, yeah.
I think
Is the dirt like just concentrated like at the foot of the bed? Is there like a trail or anything leading to a
There's
window?
kind of a trail leading in almost from the door to the foot of the bed, where he might have been holding and carrying the shovel that he then deposited on the foot of his bed.
I think Ramis will lift the shovel and turn to Miss Velasco and say, Milivoje may have been trying to protect the orphanage, but have done the exact opposite of this. Do Do you know where he spends his time around the orphanage, around the grounds? Is there a basement?
She says, there is no basement here, but there is an attic.
Zug has an epiphany and his eyes go wild and wide. And I'm going to leave the room while you guys talk.
Zug just walks out. So Zug, as soon as you walk out of the room, Zug, you, upon entering this room from the other side, you're more able to see the children's faces and bodies than you were when you were just following Ms. Blasco. And you notice, Zug, that the children all seem to have almost like bags under their eyes, like they're not getting any sleep. You notice that some of the children have bruising up and down their arms. And you notice that the children are all yawning and seeming extremely fearful.
Fearful of me?
Just fearful in general. They've barely noticed you.
I want to find a way outside the orphanage.
You can go back out the way that you came in.
I'll do that then.
Okay. So meanwhile, the conversation in Milivage's room.
Really quick, I thought, I don't have my notebook, but the bones were stolen like 4 or 5 days ago, right?
About 3 nights ago, I think. Yeah, 3 nights.
Okay.
2 to 3 nights, maybe.
Who's talking? Oh.
We're connected. Do I still feel the pit of despair in my stomach?
Yes. Even more so now that you are in this room.
Am I drawn to any one spot?
No, you're actually feeling repelled away from the bed and the bedroom.
I want to look under the bed.
You look under the bed and it is dusty.
Can I do a perception check on it? Like, is there anything unusual about it? Because it does look like there's a smeary, gross thing leading under the bed and on top of it too, but.
That's just shovel dirt for the most part, and Milivage is quite dirty as well. With sort of a perception check and a kind of checking in with yourself, you feel the presence of something that has haunted you before.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
You don't exactly know what, but it's a familiar feeling of despair and haunting.
I think she's speaking.
Hey, Google.
Ane's gonna walk around with detect magic active and have a little bit of a search.
Yeah, I think Ramiz is gonna latch on to Kane and just say, "Tell me what you see," and just follow him around.
Yes. Something's not right here. Syndra's correct. We may be able to find something if we search.
Zug will patrol around the perimeter of the orphanage, and I want to look for any like recently disturbed dirt.
Okay, so Zug is traveling around the perimeter of the orphanage. You do a lap. You don't notice anything quite unusual yet. You get to the back side of the building and you notice a wooden fence here that is surrounding the area. There is a gate on the western side of that wooden fence that you see. It's right here on the map. And you can see into the backyard. The gate is not too high. And you can see that there are some outhouses over on this side of the backyard. I'm guessing the fence probably is about 5 feet tall, so you can see over it. So if you kind of look inside or enter in the gate, whatever you decide to do, you can see those outhouses over there. You can see some wooden basins over here, pushed up against the wall of the building. One of them is filled with water. And you can also see 2 teenage girls standing here who are busy doing some laundry.
Where? I can't
In
see
front of the
where.
basins.
Oh, okay. Do I see anything?
I don't notice anything too peculiar. There's nothing that stands out to you as you do a patrol.
Okay.
The
Okay,
2
I'll
girls are
just-
chatting with each other and they don't notice you yet.
Can I keep walking until I can see their faces?
Do you want to go into the fence or are you trying to like go around?
I'll go around to like the west end. Is that a little gate?
Yeah. So this is where I assume you were probably looking over is here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was thinking I was going counterclockwise, but yeah.
But yeah, so if you're
Clockwise
here, you can
works,
see
too.
over here. So if you walk all the way over here, you still can't see their faces. They're facing the house.
Okay.
But if you choose to go in the gate, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and enter the gate.
Okay. So you walk through the gate. It is unhinged and unlocked, so you can freely walk in. And upon opening the gate, it squeaks open, and both the girls, upon hearing the squeak, turn to face you and look startled.
I will raise my hand and say, "Hello, children. Don't mind me. I'm just investigating."
The taller one looks over to you. Both girls look like young adults, 14, 15 years old. And the taller one looks over to you. She has dark hair and she says, who are you?
I am a concerned citizen looking after the sick boy inside.
She says, oh, Milavage. And she turns to her friend and they like giggle to each other a little bit. And she turns back to you and she says, yeah, we're pretty sure that Felix definitely cursed him.
Felix?
She's like, yeah, aren't you supposed to be like inspecting this place? You don't know about Felix?
Well, I just got here.
She's like, not doing a great job of inspecting. What's your name again?
You may call me Zug.
Okay, Zug. She's like, well, Felix got here a couple months ago and weird stuff has been happening since Felix got here.
Is he a child as well?
Yes, he is a child.
Is he inside?
Probably. I don't know what he does though. He's a little creep.
As I'm talking to them, do I notice their faces? Do they look like the tired, and do they have any sort of like bruising or anything?
So they do both look a little bit tired. The tall one that you are talking to seems to not have any sort of tiredness in her tone or voice. The other girl that she is with has splotched bruising on one of her arms.
I'm going to take a couple steps toward the girls and point to the shorter girl's arms and ask, I'll just say in character, that bruising around your arms, I've seen it within the children inside as well. What activities are you doing that produces such a discoloration?
She looks towards her friend and then she looks back to you and she says, honestly, we have no idea how it happened. None of us know how it happened. I haven't done anything that would bruise my arm like this.
I asked the older girl, is this one of the weird things that is happening?
The older girl says, yes. We've been having weird bruising and injuries. There have been kids waking up in the middle of the night screaming. We've all been having nightmares. She's like, have you had creepy nightmares before, Zug?
I fear nothing. So no, I have not had any nightmares.
I do want to remind Zug that that's not true.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Okay.
You can-
Rewind.
I'm just giving.
Yeah,
John-
yeah, I know. I've had my fair share recently, yes.
She says, well, then you know it is not fun to either wake up in the middle of the night screaming or wake up in the middle of the night to someone else screaming.
Zug will nod his head and say yes.
So, Mr. Detective Zug, what are you going to do about it?
These girls are fucking pieces of shit.
This one,
well, just this one.
just this one is, he goes after it.
I need you to point Felix out to me so I may question him.
She says, trust me, you will know when you find Felix. She's like, besides, I really don't want to go anywhere near him right now. So that's all on you.
You just need to point him out.
She says, well, the boys' bedroom is upstairs all the way in the southeastern corner.
Zug will look at the sun and try to do the math.
Zug is able to discern that it will be the bedroom that is above the headmistress's room.
I'll say to the tall girl, one more question. The dirt that is inside the sick boy's room, do you happen to know where it comes from?
She looks at you completely perplexed. You do know that he digs graves for a living, right?
Yes, but the grave is not in his room, is it?
But the shovel has the grave dirt and the shovel is in his room.
Why would he bring the shovel in his room?
Where else is he going to put the shovel?
I gesture like outside in the fenced area.
It could
Anywhere.
He doesn't want anyone to steal his shovel, I'm guessing.
Thank you for your time.
The valley is Barovia the valley after it
Love
falls
it.
into the
Love it.
Shadowfell or something.
She's a mood. She's starting shit right now. I'm
You
gonna wander
don't even know
inside.
her name.
Probably Danielle.
They're all
Her name is Hedwig.
I'll head inside.
Okay. Bye, Zug. You hear from behind as you walk away.
I'll just raise a hand. And head
She turns
inside.
to her friend and she giggles with her friend again.
Meanwhile,
That was a
Kane and
super
Co.
unexpected interaction. I did not expect Zug to be the one that encountered them. That was great. Josh, do you have a light in your room?
Yeah, I know. I just saw it. Give me a second.
Okay, so meanwhile, in the bedroom, Kane is still detecting magic and leaving the bedroom.
Yeah, I've been walking around the house and knowing how my detect magic spell works.
Okay, so
Investigating
Where
thoroughly.
go? You've got sort of a layout here, so you can kind of tell me where you'd like to explore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna move through the house and then up the stairs as I go. I should be able to get good coverage of the house.
You're gonna go upstairs, so you're
Yeah.
just gonna beeline it for the stairs.
Well, I mean, I'm walking around as I'm going through that room. I'll have been able to scan the vast majority of the house. So then,
With
Go
30
upstairs,
feet, I
right?
think it's like
I mean, I can look straight up. How tall is this building?
you can look straight up.
Yes.
What do you mean by you can look
Like it would
straight
pass
up?
I can see things through walls if they have a magical, if they're magical in nature, I can see an aura around them within 30 feet through at least 3 feet of wood, solid wood.
Okay. Each of these squares is about 5 feet or so.
Mhm.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So you have like this radius kind of. So like the size of a room almost as radius. So you're not going to be able to get everything by standing outside of a room. You might be able to get halfway into a room by standing outside of it.
Okay, I mean, your
Yeah.
call. I'm just going to go through all the rooms then.
You can go through the rooms if you want. It's kind of just like where do you want to go?
As I look straight up, I can see 30 feet. How tall is the building?
The building probably has about 12-foot ceilings.
Okay, so I should
So
be
you'd be able to like kind of detect
the second
magic at
floor
the
as
bottom
I
of the
go.
floor. Yeah, so you just walking around and kind of like channeling around you and upwards, you don't detect anything upwards.
Okay, I'll keep searching. The old SWAT style, room by room.
Before leaving Milovage's room, is he conscious? Like, can I ask him a question?
He's fitfully sleeping, so he's not like,
Oh,
you would have to kind of like actually wake him up if you wanted to talk to him, which you could do.
Yeah, all right. I'll do it. For the sake of information, I'd like to slowly like nudge a knee, gently try to wake him up a little bit.
So you nudge him and try to wake him up, and Milovage stirs and half opens his eyes and then closes them again.
I'd like to softly say, Milovage, I know you're not feeling well, but I was curious if you'd had any unusual dreams lately.
He stirs and fits again and doesn't reply. It seems as if he has not heard you.
I can't hear anything. He's sleeping.
To that at all, or if he just keeps sleeping. Okay. Investigation for now.
You're not totally getting everything, I don't think. You might be back.
I can hear everything you guys say.
Okay, I think you're back. You just go out every once in a while.
Shoot. Okay.
So it seems like he didn't hear you, is my retort.
Okay. Okay. I will follow Kane as he does his investigations, and I'd also like to perceive to see if I have any other grody gut feelings as we're walking through the house.
Yeah, so as you leave the Milovage's room, and Kane and Ramis are following in tow, and Sindra walks out. Sindra, you're sort of observing the room and looking around at things, and you again notice the same thing that Zog noticed, which is some of the kids have sort of interesting injuries and bruising. You notice that the girl on the couch who is reading to the other kids, she continues to like scratch her back, her lower back, and rub at it, and seems very agitated and irritated by it as she is reading. Y'all continue to sort of look throughout the house. Some of the doors are open, so again, like you can kind of go wherever you'd like, but I want you to be specific. This isn't like going to be a generally I scour the house sort of deal. If you want to go somewhere, you got to be explicit.
Start with.
I'd like to talk to the girl who is scratching her back.
So we'll come back to that conversation, and assume we know what she
You
wants
guys
to
hear
do.
me?
You want to go up to the girl who's scratching her back on the couch. The rest of you
Yep.
explore. So while I have McKenna for the moment, do I have McKenna for the moment?
Do you want to try turning off your video, McKenna? I think that would probably help.
Doesn't actually help that much,
Helps on my meetings.
really. Okay. Well, we're gonna have you guys go throughout the house, and when she's got stable internet, we'll have her go have that conversation.
Okay.
Um,
Can we move their portraits where I can see them too? I keep looking down at your laptop.
oh, sorry, yeah. Absolutely. How's that?
It's perfect.
Great. Oh, and she's gone. She'll be back. All right. So yeah, so is there somewhere specific that you would like to visit and check?
Are you talking to me or?
The party in general, I think.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
going
I'm gonna.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Apparently,
as I
how far have I been able to travel?
If you want to go upstairs, we can have you go upstairs.
as Kane is going upstairs, I'm like coming into the orphanage, and I'm gonna start heading upstairs where I hopefully run into Kane.
Okay, so you three are gonna head upstairs while Cinder stays and talks to the girl. So you head upstairs. Cool. And so you head up here, and there are actually 6 doors in this room that you see, and all the doors seem to lead somewhere unknown at this moment. So the hallway has 6 different doors. Most of them are left wide open. There's only a single door at the north end of the hall, which is this one. This door is closed. There is also a hatch on the ceiling right over here at the southern end of this room, the stairway room. There's a hatch on the ceiling, and there is one window over here on the southern wall that is broken and boarded up.
Okay.
I think Ramis will comment. Perhaps this is where Cedric fell out of.
Have I run into Kane yet?
Yes.
We're all together, right? At this
Yeah.
point.
I'm going to flag them down. Kane, Ramis, a moment.
Yes,
Yes.
Doug.
I just ran into 2 girls with attitude outside, but they gave me information. There is a child on this floor named Felix. He arrived 4 or 5 months ago. Since he's been here, the girls have said there have been strange happenings around the orphanage. I don't know if you've noticed, but the children downstairs all have sunken faces and bruises upon their arms. She mentioned that this was one of those items or those events. She said that Felix resides in, and I'll look around for a southeast, and I just utterly lost. So I just say southeast room, and I just wildly point around one of these.
Well,
We may want to begin our search there.
Well, okay.
we will see if this boy is alight with magic, thanks to Kane.
This is my radius for detect magic. I'm just gonna walk around with that, and I'm gonna be paying attention for auras of magic, room to room, canvassing the joint, so to speak.
Let's start. I think Ramis will nod towards the southeast room. and head in there.
Let's go.
I'll be the last.
Which room did you enter? Sorry. remind-
Southeast. Felix's room is who we're looking
This room
for.
right here.
Mhm.
Okay. So upon entering this particular room, why is my scroll not working? This bedroom contains 5 beds, 4 of which are perfectly made and appear unused.
Alrighty, I think I'm back, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! All right, cool.
So, yep. 5 beds. 4 beds are perfectly made and appear unused.
The 5th.
Appears to be in use. No people in this room.
It's wait. You just said it was in use, but if not, there's not a person.
It's been
Like
used.
someone is using it to sleep at night, but it is not night.
Sorry, you said in use. That was confusing me.
Do
Okay.
we notice
Bed
anything
is
abnormal
sometimes
about it,
being used.
other than the fact that it's been recently used?
Say that again.
Do we notice anything else different about it, other than the fact that it looks like it's been recently used?
If you investigate the bed that looks like it has been used, it looks pretty normal. Doesn't seem to have anything interesting about it.
Okay.
Do you see anything, Kane?
I don't know.
On to the next room. We have not found your Felix, Zug.
Maybe he's around here somewhere.
We will go to the next room to the north. Now we'll go across because we have to go around those stairs. We'll go across the western, southwest.
I'm reading really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Take it down.
Okay. Just reading to make sure that I am going to interpret the detect magic spell correctly. For if you do find something. Okay. Which room did you say you wanted to head into? The one that is north of this one?
No, we're gonna go southwest. We're just gonna start
Southwest.
going clockwise now.
So there are 4 beds that are fit snugly into this room, and 2 of the beds hold smiling red-cheeked dolls with straw hair.
On to the next room.
You're gonna leave. Go ahead.
I don't know if anything weird. I think Ramis is looking for dirt, and Kane is looking for magic.
I'll look
What are you, are you
for.
just like opening the door and looking inside?
Well, yeah. So the detect magic, we're just trying to see if we catch an aura of anything.
Yeah. You have not.
I'm just gonna look for anything unusual.
Mm. Yeah, I kind of need to know a little bit more. I need you guys to give me more than like we go to the room. Like
I think
I need actions that are more specific.
detect magic is like
I'm just casting detect magic in this area. Like that's
Yeah.
not
So
enough.
for 10 minutes, I walk around. I can see anything magical through 3 feet of wood within 30 feet of me.
Okay.
So
You see absolutely nothing.
okay, so I've walked around. I'm going to say that it would take however much time it takes for me to walk around all the rooms. And if we don't find anything, I'm going to tell them there is nothing magical here.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We may have to conduct a more thorough manual search. However, I've found no source of magic whatsoever within the building.
This is confusing.
Indeed.
Zug, what did you find outside? Perhaps Kane should look out there as well.
I did not find anything unusual. There is a back fenced yard.
We found no children up here either, huh?
The lady of the house mentioned an attic. I have not yet seen the entrance.
Oh, wasn't there a hatch somewhere in the ceiling?
I think
Where was the hatch?
did we already see that?
Yeah, it was here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
Perhaps we should venture up.
I
Do we
agree.
see a ladder or anything like that?
You can pull the hatch if you'd like to.
Nice will use his arms to
height.
pull down the hatch.
Okay, so you pull the hatch down and it does reveal a ladder that lets you climb up into the attic. You arrive into the attic, and the attic is rather barren. Here's the attic. Barren of furnishings and otherwise choked with dust and cobwebs. There's a few random piles of clutter, but nothing of much significance. At the far end of the room, the northern side, by the attic's only window, there's a small boy sitting in a lone chair silhouetted by the incoming light.
Creepy.
Think
And at this point, I would like to pause and go back to Syndra's conversation. She's downstairs. You were still trying to talk to the girl on the couch.
Yes.
You're there.
Cool. And she looks super tired too, right?
Yeah, she looks tired. You've seen her a few times itch at her lower back. And one of the girls over by the dollhouse over here, she's got like splotchy bruises up and down both of her arms.
Okay. I think I would approach her and say, "Hey, is your back okay? It seems to be irritating you."
She sighs and looks at you and she says, "Yeah, it's been kind of bothering me for a little while." And she stands up and she lifts her shirt to show you.
Uh-huh.
Her lower back is red and irritated, and there is a distinctly inhuman bite mark there.
What the fuck? Okay. I would reply calm, cool, and collectedly. That seems a little unusual. Have you by any chance had any weird dreams, or has anything unusual happened in this building? When did it start to irritate you?
She says, probably about 2 weeks ago. And I have no idea how this happened. I didn't come into contact with anything that could do this. She says, we've all been having lots of unusual nighttime terrors, and none of us can really make any sense of it.
Can you recall any of the night terrors? Anything in particular about them?
Lots of fire.
Just fire? Any figures or people that seem familiar?
Usually when I wake up, I don't really remember.
Okay. Thank you for talking to me. So she was with another girl or two, right?
There's actually like 4 young girls, little toddlers that are crowded around her.
Okay, I would turn to them and be like, do any of you remember your scary dreams?
They look to you and they go, no. They like can barely talk.
Okay.
They're like 3.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Are there any older kids in that room that I could potentially talk to, or are they all kind of like youngish?
She
on the other
one of the
side.
older girls, and then there is a young boy who's pacing.
Okay.
Looks like maybe closer to 15, and he's with two toddler boys that he's like trying to soothe and comfort.
Okay, with just observing them, do I notice anything about them, about their behavior besides just pacing?
No, they look agitated, but you don't see any visual like markings on them.
Okay, I'd like to approach the oldest and be like, "Hey, I couldn't help but notice that you've been pacing for quite a bit."
He's like, yeah, these boys have been really scared since some of their friends took off.
When did they take off?
He says, probably about 4 days ago after Cedric died. Yeah, Laszlo and Hans and Franz, they all ran out as soon as Cedric died. They didn't want to room with Felix anymore. And honestly, I can't blame them. We're all pretty scared of what's been happening here.
Yeah, I've heard a few unusual things have happened with Felix.
Yeah.
You guys kind of all look a little tired and you kind of seem a little bruised. Have you guys been experiencing some unusual things around you?
Yeah,
Maybe
there's
nightmares, maybe
lots
odd
of,
happenings in the night?
yeah, pretty much every night we've had nightmares, and at least someone has woken up screaming. Usually a couple times.
Do you have any idea what kind of nightmare woke them up like that? That's pretty intense for someone to wake up screaming.
Yeah, it's new. Most of us don't remember what happens in the nightmares. Most of us don't remember where any of these injuries have come from. It's pretty inexplicable.
It seems a lot of this stuff started happening like 4 days ago. Do you have any idea, like, was anybody acting kind of weird 4 days ago to start it off? Do you remember anything happening in particular?
Well, Cedric died.
Besides that, anything leading up to his death?
No, not really.
What can you tell me about Cedric? What was he like before his death? And how old was he?
Cedric was 10, I think.
Okay.
He always kind of teased most of us. And he had a pretty big crush on one of the girls upstairs.
Which one?
He was always really nice to, let me find her name. I totally remember her name. He was always really nice to Tessa.
Okay, were they close? Did they talk, or was it kind of an admiration from afar?
No, they were definitely close. He definitely picked on all the other kids in the house, but he talked to Tessa a lot, and he was really close with Tessa.
Would you say they were best friends, or was he very close with another boy?
No, he was definitely closest to Tessa.
Okay, that's good to know. Have you noticed anything going on with Tessa? Is she having nightmares too?
Yeah, she's kind of been having the same nightmares as the rest of us. She can maybe tell you a little bit more about Cedric. You know, I didn't really know Cedric that well. She usually hangs out in the nursery upstairs. You can probably find her. She's probably there now.
Yeah, I'll go look at that. My friends and I are, we're here to help, and we want to figure out what's going on. Is there anyone else in the house that you've noticed that hasn't been having nightmares or isn't affected by anything?
I mean, obviously, Felix, everyone's been talking about him. Things have been kind of strange with him, and he's acted kind of strangely.
Has he always been, how long has he been here? Has he always been strange, or has it kind of just been in the last 2 weeks or so?
He's been here a few months, and he's kind of been strange the entire time that he's been here, but he's only gotten really, really weird and very noticeable over the last few weeks.
Does Felix have any good friends? Who does he hang out with?
He usually just hangs out by himself.
Okay. Do Felix and Tessa talk at all?
I don't think so.
All right. That's really good information. Thank you. Well, I think I'm gonna go find Tessa and the rest of my friends, but thank you so much for your help.
He nods and he says, thanks for doing what you can to help us. These boys have been through a lot and could use a break.
That's good to know. I've been through a lot myself, so I like to help out people who have been through a lot too.
He nods at you.
I nod back.
Mm.
Then I'll make my way upstairs to the guys.
As soon as you walk upstairs, the pit in your stomach gets stronger and more
snap.
twisted.
Ooh, okay.
There's a strong sense of turmoil and unease.
Okay.
You notice that the hatch to the attic is open and the ladder is hanging down.
I would like to seek out the nursery first to see if I can talk to Tessa.
So all the rooms are basically open and you can see into all the doors except for this one. This one is closed. So by doing a quick scan and looking in all the doors, you can see that all of these rooms appear to be just bedrooms.
Okay.
Yep.
So one of those doors is locked. Can I tell like what kind of a room it is?
It's not locked, it's just closed.
Okay, I want to open it.
Okay. You open the door and it's unlocked. This is very clearly the nursery. The nursery contains 3 cribs. There's a chest of drawers in the nursery. There's an old stuffed chair that hangs out over here on this side. 2 babies are sleeping peacefully in 2 of the cribs. A teenage girl is holding the 3rd baby and is gently humming an unknown lullaby. There's another young girl sitting on the floor quietly reading.
Okay. I'd like to walk in and be like, I presume one of you must be Tessa.
The girl sitting on the floor looks up at you and she says, yeah, I'm Tessa. Who are you?
Hi, my name's Sindra. I'm here with a couple friends. We're trying to figure out what's been going on here lately. I was just wondering if I could talk to you about your friend Cedric. I'm so sorry. I heard what happened today.
Tessa has visible bruising on her arms.
Okay.
She looks down back at her book and she closes it. And she says, yeah, Cedric was my best friend.
How long have you guys been friends for?
Probably a couple years.
Had you noticed anything unusual happen before he fell? Was he acting kind of weird or kind of sad, or was anybody picking on him?
Well, Cedric did tell me something before he died. He showed it to me, actually. He took one of his roommates' locket.
Do you know whose roommate that was or who it was?
Yeah, it was Felix. Felix is pretty weird, and Cedric always liked to pull pranks and, you know, do silly things. And he took Felix's locket the day before he fell out of the window.
Do you know why he took the locket?
I think he
Did
was
he-
just trying to be funny.
Yeah, kids do that sometimes. Did he try opening the locket? Were there any pictures inside or any mementos?
Um, I don't know. He didn't really show it to me. It just was kind of a small little metal locket, and it had a big X shape on the front of it.
Okay. Do you have any idea if Felix knew that he was the one who took the locket? Did he ever confront him about it?
I don't know. I don't really think so. I mean,
Hmm.
Felix is, I don't know. He kind of seems to just know things sometimes.
That's interesting. I've met a couple people like that before. Um, do you know who Felix hangs out with? Or I've heard he hangs out alone, but has he, made any kind of friend?
Not really. Everybody kind of seems to avoid him because he's kind of weird.
And he's
He
been here
does
for a
usually
couple months, right?
know. What's that?
He's been here for a couple months, right?
Yeah, he's been here for a few months. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of don't really hang out with him because he doesn't really try to make friends with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see some bruises on your arms. How did that happen? Do you know?
I mean, it's just like everybody else. None of us seem to know why we have bruises or what's happened. Seems like everyone's got an injury and none of us know why.
Yeah, it seems like nightmares are pretty popular too. Have you had any of those that you remember?
Yeah, I've had lots of nightmares. I don't really remember them when I wake up.
Do you remember any kind of feeling besides fear with them? I myself have had a nightmare recently with this shadowy figure. It was very scary and it woke me up.
No, I have woken up at least one night really feeling sweaty, but as soon as I wake up, I don't really remember what the nightmare was about. I remember it feeling hot though.
Do you remember anything with fire?
Yeah, I think there might have been fire in one of the nightmares, but again, it's just really hard to know.
Yeah. Do any of your friends have they talked about any vivid dreams, anything beyond fire, or any figures in the dreams or anything like that?
Well, it's kind of the weird thing is that we all don't really remember our dreams and no one knows where any of these injuries are coming from.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very bizarre, but my friends we're gonna try to help you guys out and figure out what's going on to you all. If I wanted to talk to Felix, do you know where I could find him?
Most of the time Felix is in the attic by himself. So probably there.
Okay, I'll go check that out. Is there anything else that you can think of that has been kind of weird or unusual that's happened since around maybe when Felix arrived or around Cedric's passing?
She's like, everyone thinks that Cedric dying was an accident, but I knew Cedric really well, and Cedric wasn't dumb, and he was really dexterous. She doesn't use the word dexterous, she's 10. And he was really good at like climbing and sports and things. I can't imagine how he accidentally fell out of the house.
Which room did he fall from again?
The one that's boarded up outside, and she like points dead ahead.
Yeah.
Here.
Move around your mouse again.
Over here. Can you see that?
Yes.
To the second story window that's
Mhm.
boarded up here.
Okay. So she's pointing there. Okay. Okay. But I'm in a different room.
Yeah, but the door is open here. So
Okay. After I'm done talking to her, or I don't know if this will be a hard stop soon or next session, but I want to investigate that window.
yeah.
Okay.
So you can head out of the room and walk over to the window, and you can investigate the broken window.
Yeah.
It has not been repaired yet. Roll an investigation check.
Can you roll for me? Oh wait, no, I can. Okay, come on.
Yes.
Investigation. 19.
So you can see light fingernail scratches on the inside of the windowsill.
Yuck. Okay.
Probably just normal wear and tear.
Okay. Do I see anything else besides the fingernail scratches?
The fingernail scratches to you indicate struggle.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Anything beyond that or just that?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. I would wave my thanks to Tessa and make my way to the rest of the group.
As you climb the ladder into the attic, you lay your eyes onto the silhouetted figure at the end of the other room, and the pit in your stomach no longer feels like a pit of tension and despair. Your body begins to feel warm. You begin to swell with anger and hatred.
Oh shit. Okay.
Your whole body feels hot, and your mind feels consumed with anger and hatred towards this silhouetted creature that you've never seen before.
How? Okay. Okay.
The young boy, as you observe him, is carving a little wooden doll with what appears to be quite a large kitchen knife.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't seem particularly interested in chatting.
I was gonna say, Ramis has probably been trying to approach and address this boy.
Go ahead.
How old does he appear to be?
8 to 9.
8 to 9. Okay, yeah. Ramis will walk towards him, and the kitchen knife probably not being the most startling thing he's seen today, just kind of to squat down next to the boy.
How close are you getting?
Just right up to
Right up to the kid. Okay. So you start to approach the kid.
yeah. Does he do anything as I'm coming over?
He turns towards you and looks you in the eyes.
So,
How is he holding his knife?
do you have my 6, Doug? Do you have my 6?
He's still
I do.
carving with the knife, with the kitchen knife.
I want to speed walk up and grab Ramis by the shoulder and yoink him back a little bit.
Oh, Syndra.
Oh, so Sindra comes blazing forward
Relax. I just wanted to say hello.
and grabs Ramis's shoulder and yanks him. And as this happens, the boy makes eye contact with Sindra. And Sindra, do you look back at the boy?
I probably would.
Look into the pit of despair.
You look into the young boy's eyes and you feel rage, you feel anger and hatred, and you see your own child.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And with that,
We're supposed to do a strength check to get out of Syndra's creepy grasp.
we will pause for next session.
Oh, my shit. Okay. Oh, damn. That was great.
So let's do a little rundown of what happened today. I said I was going to take notes and I took absolutely 0 notes. I am not a note taker, is what I'm realizing.
It's hard to take notes and
It's hard to take
Be
notes in
engaged.
DM. Yeah, it's true. But it sounds like McKenna is taking amazing notes, so that's great. I can review the videos for notes, but let's give a little rundown of all the things that happened in a general sense. So essentially, you guys spoke to Father Lucian, you spoke to Yeska. Yeska let you know, he actually told Ramis that he told Milavage about the bones.
Jesko was very impressed with Ramis and Brian.
Yeska was super impressed with Ramis and Brian. He wasn't impressed. He was a little starstruck. Yeah. He was very nervous, but you did win him over in the end.
Yes.
Father Lucian told you Milavage was lodging at the orphanage. You guys went to the orphanage. You checked out Milavage. You noticed that Milavage seemed to be suffering from an ailment that seemed magical in nature and non-contagious. You spoke to the head mistress. Not enough. You spoke to the head mistress and she let you know
We'll go back to
something
her.
weird was happening. But she has so much information, you guys. I'm just saying.
Oh, my God.
Again, we're trying to talk to
Kind of an asshole to Ramis.
Yeah, no, she's really shrewd. But so is everyone for the most part. Right? It's pretty normal to you guys at this
We should
point.
just all start being assholes. Just constant assholes.
My charisma's too high.
You can still be an asshole
And
when you
she
have high
told you
charisma.
that there was weird stuff happening. You ended up talking to some of the orphans and found out from all of them pretty much the same thing. You found out from all the orphans that they all had weird injuries and bruises that they couldn't remember getting. They were all having nightmares that they didn't know why, and they couldn't remember what their nightmares were about. And they all felt that Felix was really weird.
Yeah.
You got some information from Tessa that she didn't think that Cedric would have accidentally died. Sindra also found those slight fingernail markings that sort of indicated a sign of a struggle.
Mhm.
And then you eventually found Felix up in this attic, or maybe Felix. You don't know that it is Felix. You can kind of presume that it's Felix, considering that everyone told you he lodges alone in the attic, and you found a little boy who matches Felix's age and description alone in the attic. Cindra's been feeling a very negative energy since she got into this orphanage. It's been getting stronger with every floor that she's climbed. And now that she's in this room facing this young kid, the feeling has escalated. And upon looking into Felix's eyes, you are seeing, to you, it appears as though this is like your unborn child.
Ugh.
So there's no factual evidence here. It's all feeling based, but you're looking into this kid's eyes and you're like, oh my God, this is my.
Why you
this is
hate your
him.
kid so much, Syndra?
Yeah, geez.
You know
that's
why? I
mean.
told you guys why.
I think that she did tell you what happened, right?
Oh, it was like it killed her husband.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you don't know everything about Syndra's story, but essentially Syndra was pregnant with her husband, and
You were pregnant with your husband?
she was pregnant. She and her husband were pregnant together. Okay, whatever. She was pregnant with her husband's child. And the child grew in her womb, and instead of being born like a normal child, it ripped itself out of her stomach,
Alien.
and it like mangled and like killed her husband in front of her, and then like ran off into the night.
Did it look like a human baby?
It looked super demonic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's some Game of Thrones shit.
Humanoid with demonic features.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for some reason, obviously when that thing tore itself out of you, it didn't look like a little child, but there's something about this kid that looks like, reminds you of your child.
But Felix, he looks like a child.
He looks like a
Cerberus.
regular
Cerberus.
kid to
Okay,
you. Yeah. To Syndra too. It looks like a regular kid. She just looks into the eyes and there's something like, this is my unborn child. There's a sense that she's feeling.
Mhm.
But to you guys, he looks like a regular, like 8-year-old boy. Yeah.
He just happens to be carving a doll with a kitchen knife.
He just happens to be carving a wooden doll with a large kitchen
It
knife.
sounds like
Yeah.
This is like Blinsky when he was a kid.
Is there anything I missed? Anything I missed in my notes? Zug had a great conversation with
Yes, you
Hedwig.
missed Zug's.
Oh, yeah.
Did she?
Zug got taunted by a small child.
You got taunted by a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, the Valley Girl really took you apart out there in the school.
She tore you a new asshole.
But there was no magic detected.
There
What's
wasn't
that?
any magic. There was no detect magic. Nothing sort of fired off that spell as you were casting it.
So that's a big deal. And we also didn't find any disturbances of the earth.
Mm-mm. No graves, if that's what you're looking for. Did I miss anything else?
I think that was it from whatever I missed while I disconnected.
No, you didn't miss anything. You're good.
Oh, Brian's back in the top hat.
And Brian is now living back in his top hat.
Okay,
Okay.
that's very important.
So we will go ahead and resume next time on the Curse of Felix. Actually, the Curse of Felix. Yeah.
Nice.
Spoiler alert.
Well, not really.
Spoiler
It's always the
alert.
curse of whatever we've just recently been dealing
Just
with.
the curse of whoever the last person you were in contact with. Yeah.